Alright everybody, let's begin the process of applying the various protectants on the metal. Basically, if you can't tell, I do have a camera, or a GoPro more specifically, that's strapped to my forehead. That way you can see from a first-person perspective how I'm applying the various lubricants and what kind of work I'm doing. I also have a second camera, a Panasonic digital camera, that's recording off to the side just in case one of these has an error. At least I have some footage. But excuse me. Alright, let's get started. Because most of these lubes are pretty basic as far as their application, I'm going to start off with the most complex one as far as the application, which is going to be frog lube. For those of you that don't know, it does suggest heating up the metal before applying it. My theory is that the actual grain of the metal expands and leaves larger gaps, I guess on a microscopic level, which allows the frog lube to get inside and act as a physical barrier against dirt and any possible corrosion starters. So I have my hair dryer over here. Yes, I have a hair dryer, even though my hair is very short. And we'll start by heating it up, and then we will start applying the various lubes with some cotton patches that I have. I use these cotton patches as opposed to a Q-tip because I believe that most gun owners don't leave a thick layer of lubrication on their gun. We tend to wipe it down because otherwise it would be too slippery to manipulate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold these cotton patches up and apply the various lubes to the steel and then go over it with the cotton patches. So it should be able to leave a pretty good amount of film of the lubricants on the steel, but not too much because it'll be some of it will be absorbed by these patches. So I'm hoping to be relatively accurate with that. So let's go ahead and get started by heating up this steel plate here, which is going to be assigned to the frog lube first. Alright, we'll put that off to the side. The metal is pretty hot. It's actually too hot to hold, so I'm assuming that's pretty good. I've heard that you're supposed to do it about 120 degrees or higher Fahrenheit. So what I'll do is I'll grab one of these patches and double it up, or actually maybe, yeah, do it like that, and then already get a pretty good amount, I guess, and put it on the metal. Yeah, that's pretty hot. You know, I know that a lot of people say this is almost cliche when they use frog lube on their YouTube videos, but it actually smells really, really good. It smells kind of like a winter fresh. So I guess I just joined the club as far as describing frog lube like something tasty. Now, something that I was a little bit worried about was a possible unfair advantage between some of the lubricants, due to their natural viscosity and how much you should apply. Because some of the ones that we're using are aerosol, and but I just told myself last night, as a rule of thumb, is to just basically put on, with various products, like pretend this piece of metal is an actual part of a firearm, maybe like an upper receiver of an AR, or perhaps the slide of a semi-auto pistol, such as my Springfield XD40, and just apply what I would do as if it was a real piece of equipment. So I'm going to get the edges around here, and yeah, as soon as it touches the hot metal, it immediately turns into a liquid, and yeah, it's pretty nice. Alright, so we'll put that back over, put that off to the side, Now that's the only equipment that, or that's the only lube that needs any kind of special treatment. And there's a nice little sheen on there. Not sure if the cameras are picking that up. Next, we will try Corrosion X. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up every single one that is in a liquid form, which is basically the rest of them. I'm going to give them all a good shake. Some of them actually do recommend a good shake. So we'll do that. And I guess we can go around twice. We'll try and make it standard. And grab another piece and fold it once and then fold it twice, and then just, yeah, it's a pretty good coating on there. And then just proceed to spread it around. I've always liked the smell of this Corrosion X. I mean, it doesn't smell like peppermint or anything like that, but it smells like an oil, which is basically what it is. But some of them, for instance, as I get to it, one of them smelled kind of like cat urine. It was kind of weird. One thing while I'm working on this that I wanted to mention about frog lube is that I kind of put a bit of frog lube on there. Maybe I'll just put a little bit more of this. Yeah. One thing I wanted to mention about frog lube is when I was reading the instructions, it stated quite assertively on the instructions that do not mix with any other CLPs. You know, basically, especially if they're petroleum based. You know, just basically they're saying this is the be all end all, and it very well may be. But I don't know. That kind of struck me as odd. You know, it's kind of telling you, like, don't mess around with any other CLPs, at least from a chemical perspective, because they were saying that mixing it with petroleum-based products, there will be some sort of adverse reaction. But you know, I don't really like the idea, especially when it comes to firearms, especially firearms that are supposed to be for self-defense. You know, that kind of like restricts you. It's almost kind of sounds like Obamacare for your gun. I know that sounds kind of weird. What I'll do is I'll do the sprays last. So what I'll do is I'll do the sprays last, because obviously they're going to get in the way. So these are not sprays. Okay, so EWL is next. Good shake. Slip 2000 EWL, that is.